Super excited to be here. Today's topic. What does that say? Building trust with littles, right? So, my little goblin is now 3, right? Crotch goblin. I think I found it. I heard somebody say that and I was like, that's a good one. Shameless plug for my book because I am going to be pulling stuff from out of here. Let me just say, putting this together, I quite literally was in occupational therapy. Like, we were doing early on stuff at home, and then he was actually in occupational therapy. And there's a lot of tools that you get recommended, right? And you want to try everything. And the really important part is that you don't. You don't try everything. You start slowly and you start small. Because number one, like, building trust is really about like paying attention to behavior. Because sometimes we don't even stop to think, okay, well, why do we consider this a bad behavior? Or why is this not considered normal, right? Like, one that always gets me is inviting kids to a wedding. Like, if you invite someone with little children to, let's be honest, anybody with kids, if you invite them to a wedding, especially if their kids are little and they don't come, and honestly, sometimes even the ones that say yes, sometimes I apologize. I'm so sorry. I just want to send out a big apology to any wedding that I RSVP'd yes to since I've had a child, because old me never missed a wedding. Mom me, yeah. I didn't miss some events. Multiple weddings, actually, now that I think about it. And I am so sorry because I really wanted to be there. However, I didn't always shake up with it. So, back to the original topic though, which is behavior is communication. So from 0 to 3, those are like the crucial foundational years, right? Quoting again Erica Commissar. 0 to 3 is where you want to put in that presence, that prioritization, and that prevention. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, my kid's not 0 to 3, even if your kid's not 0 to 3, 9 to 25, that's still a big old, like, I literally just got out of that window myself. I just got out of that 9 to 25 window, so like there is still some time there. And even like into adulthood, people are like open to things, that's their prerogative, right? So to quote Bell Hooks again, love her. She talks about nurturing forms of education, even in the talks that she did with oh my gosh, Cornel West, I believe that's his name. She talked about Montessori for black boys, no military, more homeschooling. She's like, nurturing for black children. So she talks a lot about the word nurturing, right? And what gets lost in the shuffle is people like, they think nurturing, they think of like, oh, like warm hugs and apple pie and ice cream and daffodils are running in the fields and a little house on the prairie. But that's not what nurturing is. The definition of nurturing is caring and encouraging the growth and development of, right? So when you are nurturing, you want to nurture their future self, not their current way that you're seeing things, right? And even just on like a mind level, how you see it, you want to look at people the way you want to see them, and it will help the vibration they're receiving from you, right? On an adult, like on a human to human level, right? If you are talking to someone and you know for a fact that they are, let's say like you're buying a goldfish and they're like, oh, I think buying goldfish is stupid. I don't really like buying goldfish. Like, and you clearly let your opinion about them buying goldfish be known, right? And they're saying like, yeah, I just bought a goldfish. I named him Freddie. And they're just geeked about Freddie, right? And you're just like, in your mind, you're like, oh, well, tell me, who's going to take care of Freddie when you're gone? When I was young, I had 10 Freddies, right? So in their head, they're picking up that vibration from you. Oh, they don't really like my fish. Well, let me not talk to them about my fish. I'm not going to talk to them about Freddie anymore. They're like, is Freddie still alive? Okay? So think about it when it comes to your child, right? So if you're like, oh my gosh, you're so bad. Like, and sometimes I have to, like, tell myself that don't say your kid is bad. Like, they're not bad. They're just learning. And I feel like when you say, like, any kid up into the time that like, I hate to say it, 0 to 25. I feel like inherently you're just bad. Like, it's in your system because you're still learning. Like, your brain is still developing. You're still learning a lot of things. A lot is still coming at you. Like, you're cycling between there's a lot coming at you. And if you think about it, as a parent, your job is to give your kid that foundation to be like, I'm as strong as a tree. No matter what comes at me, I'm a whole strong. I'm a whole strong. And I'm grateful for the other trees that are here with me, right? Because they have to think of anyone else that comes into their life as trees, right? But like you're the first trees in their forest, right? So you have to set that good foundation for them so that they know, like, okay, like no matter what comes, I can stand strong. I can stand strong. And the tools that you give them on how to stand strong are going to carry with them for the rest of their life. So you want to think, okay, like, what tools am I giving them? Okay, so 0 to 3, include them in the mundane, right? Bell Hooks, All About Love, she talks about giving children responsibilities from a young age, because it allows them to care for the space that they have. It allows them to feel a sense of responsibility, knowing that they can clean up messes, knowing that they can take charge and do things to change the outcome. And on the flip side of that, cleaning and cooking are both sensory tools. And the funny part about some of the ones that I have in here, like this one, push the vacuum with Pablo the pig, right? Growing up, my grandma had a Kirby vacuum. The thing was so heavy, right? But like, I loved vacuuming. I loved it because they had this like carpet. It was like a mint green almost. It was a green carpet. It was green carpet. Okay. So I loved it. And then when they would get some stuff. And so I loved vacuuming her carpet. Now, she was a little particular, and sometimes she wanted her lawns a certain way. But for me, it was really about pushing that heavy vacuum. It was nice it was really about like the heavy work, right? And so when it came, and my kid, it's so funny because right after my son was born, my mom bought a Kirby vacuum. She bought a Kirby vacuum. So growing up, at my mom's house, he was always pushing a Kirby vacuum. I want to help. Here he is with that Kirby vacuum. So it's allowing him to take ownership of the space. He spilled some goldfish on the floor of grandma's house, or he spilled some potato chips, or he spilled some popcorn. He can clean it up himself. Make mac and cheese with Maya the Moose. So he can go make his own eggs. He knows how to make his own cereal. Now, nourish my body with Nico. Then that's another one. So he's a little funny sometimes when he's at grandma's house and he's feeling himself. He will go in and help himself to yogurt. He'll also help himself to nuts and berries and apples and oranges and lots of things. And so we're learning to finish things. and to dispose of our trash. So it really becomes a thing of like, okay, like, how are they watching you? What are you doing? So sometimes when I'm like in the night, I have to remember that. So I'm mindful of the trash, and I invite him to come help and clean up his mess. And also not really trying to shame him for it, because sometimes I don't always clean up myself. But being like, hey, let's take pride in our home because it's our home. Because, like, yeah, like the cleaning lady might come and help out if you have a cleaning lady. Even if you don't have a cleaning lady. Even if you just go to a hotel. Even if you just are in a restaurant. Don't be like, oh, that's their job. No. Have some respect about yourself. Have some decorum. And you should teach your kids the same. Okay? Next. When we do have moments where we get out of line, right? I'm still learning this on myself, right? So sometimes I do freeze up and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But it's learning. We're here to learn together. Each one teach one, right? My mom taught me this one. So punishments and consequences that make sense. So what does your child actually care about, right? So growing up, my mom would say, for me, I did not like timeouts. Like anything but timeouts. Like you could whip me and I wouldn't care. Backfired, right? Because I hear that my nieces are the same way. And so is my son. How do we find this out? Don't ask. Don't ask. And I will say this, when you understand that your child is different, you learn early, because I think of that Frank Ocean line, pitch corrected, computed emotion. When your kid is different, their emotions and how they pick up on things are a little different, right? So things that other people care about, they're not going to care about. You have to find a way to appeal to that child in a way that makes sense to them, right? And that's how you have to explain the world. And like, for example, right? I'm gonna show you an example of Pinterest, right? Because this is, I saw this and it, like, honestly, it connected a lot for me. Like when I'm trying to teach my kids something. For example, teaching him his name, right? I saw this one, but I was like, wouldn't do this for him. But to make this work for him, I would do like monster trucks, or I think monster trucks, or the characters from Cars, finding things that appeal to him, and using that to go off of. So punishments for us that make sense. No TV. That boy is on Cars punishment right now. He cannot watch the Cars movie because he lost his mind. So now he been asking for Paw Patrol. No, right? Throwing away toys. I don't care. I don't care. And this is your sign. If you are going to a child's birthday party anytime soon and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what do I get them? Let me tell you, as a parent, the first thing to get thrown away when they lose their mind is a toy. Them toys be the first thing to go. Okay? Why? Because you ever saw those like ads that they did about like the child's I'm a final link. They did like these child or these toy safety commercials from oh my god, I think they were from like the Europe. There is somewhere in Europe. It was like the video where this lady was like walking, and she was in the living room, and the kids had left a toy out, and she walked and she stepped on a toy, and then she fell into a glass table, bust her head. And like, somebody like brought up those commercials like in an effort to make a point, but I'm like, that is so serious. Like, do you know how many times I've been walking in the middle of the night and I get stabbed in the toe, stabbed in the foot by a toy? But you know what has never you know what I always appreciate? A good book. And it was honestly, I didn't even mean to pick that book up right now, but honestly, a book, okay? If you want to think of something, what is, like, I promise you, them books probably be the last thing to go, okay? If you want to get children something that they probably would stick with them for a minute, get them a book. Don't mind Duolingo. I'm switching over to a new app anyway. But yeah, get them a book. Get them something that is gonna stick with them a little longer, a bit more meaningful. Clothes, a book, a book. Okay, so yeah, I throw those toys away. Or on the flip side, what I'll do is, like, if toys are left in a certain place, I'll take them and I'll put them somewhere unreachable. And does he try and reach them? For sure. But he doesn't get them. So we've been getting way, way better because we understand that things go missing when they're left in certain places. So they'll end up in certain places. Right? Next one, time without me. Right? Because you are your own separate being. And once they're old enough to realize that, like, their presence is a gift to everyone. Even you. I love you. But don't find out what I'm made of. And it's so funny when we were like, oh my gosh, like, you're so patient. I was like, we see each other. We see each other, okay? Right. Next one, running laps and lifting weights, right? When I was getting calls about him from daycare, one day I quite literally went up to that daycare and made that little boy run laps. He was like, Mommy, it's heavy, I'm tired. Okay, let's keep going. I mean, now I understand we have to do, like, the little vibration, like the little swing after, but still. Hold these weights up. Anyway, okay, building trust, right? Last part. Okay, and then we'll come down, bring it on home. Simple things, allowing them to pick out their own clothes. So if they want to dress like they came out an episode or add up a Judy B. Jones book, hey, that's their prerogative. Okay. If they want to dress like Napoleon Dynamite, that's their business. If your kid looks like they belong in a fantastical orange vest, or they look brighter than the sun, or as my uncle once said, a bag of Skittles, let them do it, right? If they dress themselves and that's how they want to dress, let them do it. A bigger win, like if your kid gets older, even for me, for my son, allowing them to pick out their own room decor and choose items. They give them, like, freedom of choice. So, like, when I say items, they give them a freedom of choice. Like, my son has had a hatch since he was a baby. So at nighttime, we would sit there and, like, change the colors throughout the night. Just sit there. He'd tell me the color. We'd go to the color. So that's kind of how he learned the colors. And so Now, at nighttime, he'll tell me what color he wants his light to be. Nice. We also have like lights on the side of the wall. He'll tell me what colors he wants his lights to be. So the lights on the wall, got those from Temu, the hatch. I think you can get like the hatch at Best Buy. And mine was like a corporate reward for my job. So I got it for free. And it's amazing. It's very interactive. So definitely getting interactive things for your child. Simple interactive things, not the fewest codes possible, the best, and also no TV, no electronics in the room. Let that interactive, whatever, be enough. The less stimulation, the best. And then for decor, room decor, if you're on a budget, thrifting, DIY if you can. I love to DIY. However, I don't trust him and me DIYing together yet. We have to graduate there. He's a little scary. He's very determined. So sometimes we butt heads because he's very determined and I care about his body and his safety. And he'd just be, I can do anything. I'm like, you can do anything, but we don't have to do everything, right? Okay, cool. But Hobby Lobby, catch them at the right time. They're always having a nice sale, a little 40% off here, a little discount there, a little clearance sale here and there. So shop around, like don't feel the need to, oh, I gotta get a furniture set. No. You can buy things here and there, recycle things, care about the earth, Go on Facebook Marketplace, meet people at the police station. Like there are ways to safely, recycle, upcycle, not necessarily buy things that are brand new. Buy from China. I know a lot of people are shocked, but like, yes, you can get the same furniture that you get on Amazon on Temu. And if you really want to do your big one, if you're like buying a new house, or if you are renovating your house, or you're doing a bunch of redecorations, go to China. Okay, before you go to China, pay for a cargo ship, right? Why are you going to pay for a cargo ship? Because you are going to put your building materials in said cargo ship. If you buy your own cargo ship, it's going to run you about $5,000, right? Ask people who had to buy things from overseas to furnish their home and such, how much they paid. Okay, so like I was saying, get your cargo ship and fill up your cargo ship. There are quite literally cities in China that are popular for furniture. There are cities that are popular for technology. There are cities that are popular for like clothing or shoes or leather goods or silk. So if you want to know more, let me know, because it's my little fun hobby. So allowing them to pick out what they want. So allow them to scroll on your phone. Hey, what kind of bed do you like? Put that image into a search engine. You can put the picture into Temu. See what comes up. Look at the reviews. Look at the pictures. Order the best one. Go with them to the store. Take them to the store. Do it when they're in a good mood. Have them pick out some items. Let them pick where they want to put the items. If you're coloring the room, let them help paint their room. Because they're gonna lay there and go, I did that. It really is the little things, like for them especially, because when you allow them to feel the confidence and the achievement in the little things, the big things are no problem, because they can quite literally walk into their room and see, oh well, if I can paint a wall, I can write this essay. If I can write this essay, then I can apply for this scholarship. If I can apply for this scholarship, I can go apply for this program. If I can apply for this program, I can go to this college. And if I apply for this program at this college and I'm in here, then I can do anything. I can start my own business. I have the tools to do it. Tools. So you're building up their toolkit of their own confidence, but then their confidence of like, okay, like, let me look at the track record. Look at what I've done. Look at what I can do. Nothing is off limits to me, right? So like trying to allow them to feel that like as early as you can. And I know it's scary. It truly is. But like the sooner that you allow them to do it, the sooner you are able to kind of like work with them as they like learn how to work through learning that things are hot, that this is dirty, that this hurts, that this moves, that this stinks. So next, set up your home to be functional. So my son has a trampoline in the middle of his bedroom. Why? Because he just needs somewhere to get the energy out. On that, like in our living room, we actually do have a little dinosaur that he can like bounce on, and he also has like a little bouncy ball, you know, like the one with the little handle. Yeah, like right. I used to love a pogo stick. My uncle thrifted a pogo stick. It was pink and green. Once I finally got that sucker down pat. Catch me on that pogo stick, right? So he loves his bouncy ball. He loves the little dinosaur. He'll be hopping in the kitchen. Mama, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, fun time, right? I removed his closet doors, right? I noticed that sometimes, like, us butting heads and us fighting was quite literally coming from things I could easily change, right? And a lot of times, it's nothing wrong with teaching your child that you can change spaces to adapt to them. Why? Because you quite literally can, right? Anywhere in life. Like, I'm sorry, if we're in a doctor's waiting room and you coughing a little too loud or you smell aggressive, I'm going to get up and move. And you should be able to teach kids that they can do the same. They don't have to sit there and smell the donkey. They don't have to smell the donkey. They don't. So that should be a natural lesson that they learn in their real life, right? So trampling in the bedroom, remove the closet doors because he liked going in and out of his closet. He did not really like the closet doors. Funny enough, at my old house, like my childhood house or my high school house, I actually removed the closet doors off of my closet. Why? Because I did not like those doors. It was the same kind of doors that he had. So all in all, if there's one thing that I can say, if you're like really up here like, ugh, like I'm really like I love children, I love kids. However, being a parent, I feel like frustrated, and sometimes it's quite literally like connecting back to the old you, or just realizing that you can make up your own like way of being, your own set of doing things, especially when it comes to your child. Because at the end of the day, like I say, you want to look at them the way you want to see them. So you want to see them as that adult going into the world who is confident, who is secure in what they know and what they don't know. And they know that if they don't know things, they can learn things. You know, they know that they can always go searching, that they're not stationary, that they don't have to be in one place, that they can always go, and that they don't need anyone else outside of self. they can go seek it for themselves. You know, that's the big picture, right? That you want to give them. You know, you want to nurture them back to the nurture, right? Their future self, caring and encouraging the growth and development. Because, yeah, right now they might be a little baby, they might be your baby, they might be a adolescent, or they might be a teenager, but they are going to grow up one day, and they're going to form their own friendships, and they're going to have relationships. Yes? Okay. I'll be in there in a minute. They gotta do their own thing, and you want to trust them to do their own thing, but you're only going to be able to trust them if they could trust you. And you gotta trust yourself so they can trust you, right? So another thing, he has a full-size bed. When we stopped at the toddler beds, he looked over. You know, I mean, does he still want me to sleep in his bed? Does he still want to sleep in my bed? Yes. However, it is very hard to not want to sleep in your own bed when you got a big cozy bed. Okay, and last thing, because I have been summoned, right? Trips. So show your child that they can trust you, and keep your child, so like on trips, you are keeping your child safe when you try new things with them. So I'm gonna put a video together, because our first solo trip with nobody else was actually to Puerto Rico, and we actually flew, shout out to Delta Airlines, they're gonna do it every time. Flew with Delta. We stayed in San Juan. We also stayed in Guayanilla and Yauco and one more part. But it was beautiful. I went to a bakery. We went to the bakery like almost every day that we were there. We met some amazing people. We had some delicious food. I will definitely even put some stuff together, because for moms with children who are fearless or kids who like need like that sensory experience, definitely going to an island, going to Puerto Rico, going outside of San Juan was definitely amazing. Even San Juan was still so much fun. It was amazing. So I will be back with that video, because everybody deserves a little vacation, even the kids who are a force to be reckoned with, right? They deserve to see the world and see the beauty. So I gotta go get somebody some green lights, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know, did you pick up your copy of the book yet? What's your favorite activity?